Okay, so picture this. You walk onto a job site and you see a big tank, or maybe it's like a utility vault,
Yeah.
places that need some serious safety protocols.
Right.
And that's because these are what we call permit-required confined spaces. And we're diving deep into those today.
Definitely. Right.
Specifically, we're going to be looking at OSHA standard 1926.1210.
Okay.
And that covers the super important role of the entry supervisor.
Yeah, really important.
And a big shout out to our partners at Safety One Source
Absolutely.
for making this deep dive possible.
For sure.
They really get that, knowledge is power when it comes to keeping everyone safe.
Couldn't agree more.
So let's jump right in and get to the heart of this standard.
Okay. Sounds good.
So when we talk about an entry supervisor, what exactly are we talking about?
Well, it's not just some fancy title. This
Right.
person is critical to keeping workers safe when they have to enter permit-required confined spaces.
Okay, so they're like the gatekeeper for safety.
Exactly. And that's what OSHA 1926.121 really emphasizes.
Gotcha. But before we get too deep into their duties, what exactly makes a confined space permit required?
Good question. So there are a few things that set these spaces apart. First off, it has to be big enough for a worker to actually get inside and do their job.
Makes sense.
Then there's the issue of access. Getting in and out can't be a simple walk in the park.
So like a narrow opening or something.
Right, exactly. And here's the big one. These spaces aren't designed for people to be hanging out in all day long.
Okay, so not your typical office cubicle.
Definitely not. But most importantly, there's got to be some potential hazard, something that makes it risky for workers to be in there.
So things like the air quality or maybe the risk of getting trapped.
Exactly. Things like that could be a dangerous atmosphere, the possibility of engulfment, all kinds of serious safety concerns.
So once you've identified a permit-required confined space, what's the entry supervisor's first move?
Air testing. That's the absolute first thing.
Before anything else?
Absolutely. You got to make sure the air is breathable.
So they're checking for oxygen levels and stuff like that?
Yeah, oxygen flammable gases, toxic vapors, you name it. It's like a doctor checking a patient's vital signs before surgery.
Wow, so it's really serious business.
It is, and it doesn't stop there. The entry supervisor also has to make sure all the rescue equipment is in place and ready to go.
Just in case something goes wrong?
Exactly. And everyone on the team needs to know how to use that equipment too.
So it's like a pre-flight checklist, but for worker safety.
That's a great way to put it. So they've checked the air, they've got the rescue plan in place. What happens once the workers actually go into the confined space?
Yeah. Does the entry supervisor just kick back and relax?
Oh, no. Their job is far from over.
Okay. So what are they doing while the workers are inside?
They're constantly monitoring the situation inside, making sure everything stays safe.
So they're keeping an eye on things like air quality.
Yeah, air quality and any other potential hazards that might pop up.
And they've got the authority to stop everything if things get dicey.
Exactly. They can terminate the entry immediately if there's any sign of danger.
Wow. So they really do have people's lives in their hands.
That's the weight of this responsibility. It's about making those split-second decisions that could save a life.
And that's why it's so important to understand OSHA 1926.1210.
Absolutely. It's not just about checking boxes. It's about being prepared and knowing how to act when it matters most.
So to wrap things up, the entry supervisor is all about vigilance, being ready for anything, and having the power to make tough calls.
Exactly. And I'd like to leave you with this thought. We've talked a lot about what the standard says, but think about why it exists in the first place.
Okay.
It's often because of tragedies, incidents where maybe these precautions weren't in place.
That's a sobering thought.
It is. But it reminds us that safety isn't just about following the rules. It's about a commitment to protecting lives.
And that's something we should all strive for. So keep learning, keep those questions coming, and never underestimate the power of a well-trained entry supervisor.
Agreed.
Until next time, stay curious, and of course, stay safe.
Stay safe out there.
We'll see you next time.
See ya.
Bye.